Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, before I get going today, I want to remind you, PureVPN, who is one of my sponsors, is doing Black Friday 83% off golden ticket, 3 months extra. As you go down here, you'll see they've got their, they call it the golden ticket max, $344 per month. And this gets high-speed VPN, secure password manager, end-to-end file encryption, personal privacy manager, and it actually look, it shows you the massive discount they're doing. This is all leading up to Thanksgiving, and they had reached out to me. I have one of these VPNs because there's several things that if you're going to be in crypto, that you've just got to have, and a VPN is one of them, so that you can surf the internet privately and anonymously. We're dealing with hackers all over the place out here. So it's like one of those must-haves if you're going to be invested in crypto. They gave me a special link to this special, so I'll put the link in the very top of the description of this video. Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. And as we've just passed Thanksgiving, we're headed to Christmas and then into the new year. I think it's important to give you a good little reminder, the greatest XRP video I've ever seen, because many of you probably have never seen it. And it's important to see it again. If you've seen it once or twice or 3 times, then you need to see it a 4th time. Because I believe that with all this Bitcoin ETF talk and all the things we're seeing, the Ripple Uphold partnership, I believe that the world is about to find out just how right all of us were for all this time. And this is a great video to watch going into that time period.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, Arab Emiratis, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America. Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at SWIFT? Former SWIFT board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
Let me tell you what. I met this guy at XRP Las Vegas, and I've had conversations with him since that time. Super nice guy, super smart guy, very unassuming. I mean, this is like literally probably the best XRP video ever made. Ripple, XRP, whatever. Great stuff. I think we'll probably see more out of him. Now, here's more out of Thinking Crypto's interview with Tom Emmer. Listen, they're talking here about Elizabeth Warren and crew.
It seems like Gary Gensler, he has Elizabeth Warren behind him. How can we slow Elizabeth Warren down? Because she seems to be the one empowering Gary Gensler.
If the Chinese government cannot shut down crypto completely, I guarantee you that in this country, Elizabeth Warren's not going to be able to do it, and neither is Gary Gensler. Now, we're at another growth point with digital assets,
Yes,
and I can understand how this is very concerning to them, because this goes right at their power. If you and I, if Tony and Tom can do business together directly without having a third-party intermediary, or better yet, not having the government in between our transaction, Tony, we're going to be empowered to do what is best for us without regard to what the government might want us to do. That's the way it should be working. Unfortunately, Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler in that world lose a lot of their power. And I think that's why they're struggling so hard to stop.
Yep, that's why they're going to lose. That's why they've been losing and are going to lose. Now listen to this. Here's an interesting clip from Rand Neuner's show. Listen to this.
Hello. Bitcoin, it is digital gold of our it's the gold of our generation. It's digital gold. And as we've seen, BlackRock has called, Bitcoin the future. These guys want it passed. They aren't no slouches either. BlackRock has had connections to our presidents since George Bush, it goes back over 20, 30 years now, and they've been involved with the government or the president and their,
they are the U.S. They are the U.S. government. You could basically
they're the financial arm of the U.S. government.
Okay.
So in my opinion, that they're going to, have to have Tether and Binance go down. And it's not going to be like brutal, like I said, jail. They're going to, take Tether out of the crypto ecosystem. They're just going to need people that the government knows they can trust implanted. If you haven't seen who Richard Tang, who took over for Binance, he is a member of the WEF, World Economic Forum.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, now he makes a very good point here. For many months and years, really, when people thought that Binance would be taken out, and they thought that when Binance was taken out, it would crush the crypto market. Did you notice that it did not crush the crypto market? It's because and this is the tell, folks. This is how you know that the government is and has always been planning to come into this crypto and make all of those billions and trillions that they saw Binance making. That's always been the plan. What I did not know is that instead of crushing it, that they would want to co-opt it. So, and we'll get to that in a minute. But now what he said with Tether is very interesting. He said no, because I've always thought they were behind all this stuff anyway. I think that they'll have a patsy or two that'll go down as a result of this. And then they'll put, just like they're describing what they're doing with Binance, putting their own guy in place, they'll do the same thing with Tether. That makes sense. This way, it doesn't crush the entire market. So then you've got this. This is a dark horse tweet. He says, Ripple's all over Binance. Check them out. Take a look at this Richard Tang. Used to work with MAS and ADGM. The new CEO of Binance US, Norman Reed. And if you remember, Norman Reed was the general counsel of Ripple back when they first started, okay? And then in the last 6 or 8 months, he became the CEO of Binance US. And now they're saying this Richard Tang guy was from, I think he was from Lulu Pay or something, one of Ripple's partners. Says, this is where it gets interesting. Worked for the ADGM and met and praised Ripple in 2018-19 conference. He joins Lulu, adds RippleNet to it, and Binance CEO joins Lulu. He then became, and now my 11-year-old has turned his phone up while I told him to turn everything off while I was doing this video. Right? Didn't I say that? Okay. He then became CEO of Binance Asia, but this was just down. He was part of the MAS before joining it. Was Binance decision to shut it down? Had Ting found things then? Did he know that Binance wasn't compliant? It was a decision they took, not forced. Okay. Interesting stuff. So is this. Look at this graphic that Digital Perspectives put together right here. This is after his interview that we showed you yesterday, the Uphold Ripple partnership. So he's got ETP, ETFs investment demand, XRP supply custody locked up, okay? And then Uphold Ripple payments supply, demand market participants payments. So he's basically saying here, an ETF comes about and it locks up some of the supply, and then you're needing a lot of supply for the payments, and it drives the price up. That's what he's getting at here. I like the thought pattern there. Okay, now I'm going to finish with this. I don't know if I've ever played this before, but folks, if you don't know where all of this is going, I'm going to tell you right now. The end goal for all of this crypto stuff is that you're going to enter a world that is a tokenized world. Right now, if you want to buy a condo in Florida, you have to go to you have to match a buyer and a seller, and you got to go to a closing table and close on that real estate, and then the new buyer owns it, the seller has sold it, and they get their money. The world we're entering, because of digital assets like the XRP ledger, we're going to enter a world where things are tokenized, real estate, antiques, cars, you name it, anything. And yeah, people will go to a closing table, but they'll be closing on tokenizing their real world assets. And when that happens, that tokenized ownership will be tradable on exchanges, maybe like an Uphold or a Coinbase or Backed or whatever the new FTX that Wall Street is creating right now. That's where we're going. You're talking about trillions and quadrillions of dollars, folks. And that's what David Schwartz is talking about here.
That's a sort of universal store of value. So that could mean tokenized stocks, that could mean cryptocurrencies, that could mean fiat assets, that could mean digital rights to things that they've purchased, it could mean NFTs for collectibles, games. This idea that you have a person who, when they get paid, let's say you get paid every 2 weeks, you get paid, and that money comes in, and you can have whatever you want to have happen to that money. And when you go to the grocery store and you get that bill and you go to pay the bill, that money, that payment can come out of your portfolio of things that you hold however you want. And you could be a millionaire, or you could be, someone in a third world country whose net worth is less than the cost of this microphone. And you would have access to that same set of tools. Obviously, you'd be using them on a different scale, but you would have the same set of options. You like holding gold? When you get paid, you could have tokenized gold. And when you go to pay, at the grocery store, you're using tokenized gold that's being sold. And it's just everything in one place. And that means, like, when you gift money to other people, when you pass away, your heirs don't have to go looking for your assets spread all over the place. You have just so much more control and can make financial decisions on that sort of more controlled basis. And I think I'll also go back to the very, very first vision that was associated with Ripple. It actually goes back to Ryan Fugger in 2004, believe it or not. And he had this vision of individuals who, if you need money, you might, if you're not very well banked, you might get a payday loan or something terrible, or leave money on a credit card, because borrowing money from people is extremely inconvenient. Like, you have to ask somebody if you can borrow money from them, and they have to say yes or no. And if they say no, it's awkward. If they say yes, you have to remember to pay them back. And what if you pay them back and they forget that you paid them back, or they have to ask you to pay? Like, all of those things can be automated and made painless. And I think financial openness people in the United States talk about religion, they talk about politics, they talk about sex in ways that they didn't, just a few years ago. The only thing we still don't talk about and that we don't have open discussions about is money.
Yep. Okay. Now, in the member group, what I'm about to talk about today is kind of by popular demand, is, we don't talk about three-letter agencies out here. In the member group, we do. But so we're going to talk about not just one, but several of them and how they're all tied together. And we're going to hear it from somebody who used to be in one, and it lays it all out. And what it does is it makes a lot of the things, nothing has made sense for the last 3 to 5 years, but it will make a lot of that make sense when you really look at what's really going on. We're going to talk about that, and that's at daixrp.com. You can go check it out. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. There's just certain things we're not going to talk about out here, and that's just the way it is. Come join daixrp.com. All right.